I used to think getting a powerful laptop or a high-end monitor meant draining my bank account. Retail prices? Way out of reach. Then I discovered something most people completely ignore: government and institutional auctions, where premium tech gets sold off for a fraction of what it's worth. Now I make it my mission to find those hidden deals and show you exactly where to get elite gear without paying elite prices. This is electronics for less. I've been diving into GSA auctions for a while now, and honestly, it's one of the best kept secrets if you're looking for high-end laptops and monitors without paying full retail. The platform deals with federal government surplus, so you're looking at computers, office equipment, and even vehicles that agencies no longer need. Everything is sold as is, which means you get the hardware without any warranties. But the prices can be shockingly low. I've seen business-grade laptops start at under $100, and sometimes monitors that originally sold for several $100s going for $20 to $50 if there's little competition. What I love about these auctions is the variety. You can find single units, but a lot of the real deals come from bulk lots. Sometimes it's a pallet of 20 or more laptops, or dozens of monitors grouped together. If you're okay with buying in bulk and maybe refurbishing or reselling a few units, the cost per item can drop to mere pennies on the dollar. I always make sure to check the specs listed in each auction carefully because some equipment is older or missing accessories. Knowing what's worth your bid versus what isn't is key. Another thing to consider is logistics. GSA Auctions doesn't ship items. You're responsible for picking them up. Depending on the size of your lot, you might need a truck or a van. I usually plan ahead, confirm pickup times, and make sure I have the right equipment to safely transport everything. There's also the registration process. You need a free account to bid, and some auctions require identity verification or a deposit to participate. So I always get that sorted before spotting something I want. Watching the auctions and setting alerts has helped me snag the best deals because timing really matters. The competition can heat up quickly toward the end. Finally, I always check for additional fees or restrictions. Some items, like laptops, might have the hard drives removed for security reasons, which isn't a deal breaker, but something you need to know ahead of time. Also, the auctions are live and bids are final, so it pays to have a clear budget and stick to it. Over time, I've learned that patience and persistence pay off. You can absolutely score premium laptops and monitors for a fraction of retail. If you know what to look for, plan your pickup, and keep an eye on the listings regularly. I've also spent a lot of time on GovDeals, and it's a really different vibe compared to GSA auctions, but just as profitable if you know what you're doing. GovDeals mainly lists surplus from state and local government agencies, so you're looking at everything from school district laptops to county office monitors, and even sometimes specialized IT equipment that's being replaced. The really cool part is the starting bids. I've seen mid-range laptops start as low as $50 and higher-end monitors for $10 to $30, depending on the lot and how many people are bidding. Occasionally, you even find premium equipment that hasn't been used much, especially if a department upgraded recently. What I've learned is that the key here is variety. Some auctions are single items, but a lot of the real savings come from pallets or grouped lots. You might end up with a stack of 15 to 20 laptops or dozens of monitors, which makes the per item cost ridiculously low if you're okay with handling a bulk pickup. I always make sure to check the item condition carefully because descriptions can vary. Some laptops might need new batteries or minor fixes, so it helps to know basic refurbishing or be ready to resell. Logistics and timing are huge. Unlike GSA, some local agencies will actually allow limited shipping, but most require you to pick up the items in person. I usually plan ahead with a vehicle big enough for pallets, and I confirm pickup windows in advance to avoid any surprises. Also, I make sure to register well before bidding. GovDeals requires an account, and some auctions need identity verification or deposits, so it's smart to have everything set up before spotting a deal. Watching auctions close closely is key because the best items often go in the final minutes, and bidding can get competitive fast. Finally, I keep a few strategies in mind. I avoid bidding emotionally, stick to a clear budget, and I always check for fees or special conditions, like missing hard drives or damaged screens. Over time, I've found that being patient, checking listings daily, and understanding the type of equipment each agency typically sells really pays off. If you're consistent, you can get laptops and monitors that would cost hundreds retail for just a fraction of that, all legally, and all through legit government channels. When I started exploring PublicSurplus, I realized it's one of those platforms that doesn't get talked about enough. It's focused heavily on surplus from local governments, schools, municipalities, and public institutions. That means a lot of the laptops and monitors I find they usually come from school upgrades, city office replacements, or IT refresh cycles. In other words, the equipment isn't random. It's often business-grade or education-grade machines that were used in structured environments. What stands out to me on PublicSurplus is how low the starting bids can be. I've seen laptops begin at $25 or $50, and monitors sometimes start under $20, especially when they're being cleared out in bulk. Of course, the final price depends on how many people are bidding, but if I catch a listing early or find one in a smaller town with less competition, the deals can be serious. Bulk lots are where I really pay attention. Sometimes it's 10, 20, or even 50 units grouped together, and that's where the cost per device can drop dramatically. One thing I always consider is condition and completeness. A lot of listings clearly state whether hard drives have been removed, whether power cables are included, or if items are untested. I never skip the description, and I always zoom into the photos. Since everything is sold as is, I assume I might need to replace a battery, add storage, or do minor repairs. Factoring that into my budget keeps me from overbidding. Pickup logistics are another big factor for me. Most sellers on PublicSurplus require local pickup, and since these are often schools or municipal buildings, they have specific pickup windows. I make sure I can realistically get there before I place a serious bid. If it's out of state, I calculate travel costs to see if the deal still makes sense. Sometimes the savings are huge, but transportation can eat into that if I'm not careful. Over time, I've learned that consistency wins on PublicSurplus. I check listings regularly, focus on regions with fewer bidders, and stick to a clear maximum bid. When I do that, I can walk away with solid business laptops and quality monitors for a fraction of retail, sometimes literally pennies on the dollar compared to buying brand new. GovPlanet was a real eye-opener for me because it's not just about federal or local government surplus. It leans heavily into military and specialized government equipment. At first, I wasn't sure if laptops and monitors would even show up, but they absolutely do. A lot of the tech comes from government offices or support units that use high-spec machines for field operations, logistics, or communications. That means the laptops and monitors are often more rugged or higher-end than typical consumer gear, which is a huge bonus if you're looking for performance without the retail price. The auctions themselves are pretty straightforward, but I've learned a few things that make a big difference. For example, many items are listed in lots rather than single units, so you might bid on a pallet of 10 laptops or 20 monitors at once. The starting bids are usually very low. I've seen monitors go for $15 to $25 each in lots, and laptops that originally retailed for over $1,000 can start around $50. Of course, competition varies depending on the item and timing, but if you keep an eye on the listings and act quickly, the savings can be massive. One thing I always consider is the condition and what's included. GovPlanet often lists whether items are functional, refurbished, or untested, and I make it a point to read every description carefully. Hard drives might be removed for security reasons, and accessories, like power cables, aren't always guaranteed. I factor in what I might need to purchase separately so I know the real cost per item. Logistics is another key point. Most of these auctions require local pickup, and depending on the size of the lot, you might need a truck or a large vehicle. I plan ahead for transport and make sure I can realistically pick up the items within the stated window. Over time, I've found that combining careful research, patience, and being ready to act on a good deal lets me score high-end laptops and monitors for pennies on the dollar. Sometimes machines that are far more powerful than anything I'd buy retail at that price. GovLiquidation quickly became one of my go-to sites because it feels like a mix between a traditional auction and a treasure hunt. The platform focuses on surplus and liquidation sales from government sources, and that includes IT equipment like laptops, desktops, monitors, and sometimes even networking gear. What I love is that the listings are constantly updated, so there's always something new to check, whether it's a single laptop or a bulk lot of monitors. The prices here can be insane if you're paying attention. I've seen mid-range laptops start around $50, and higher-end models sometimes begin at $100 or a little above, which is a steal compared to retail. Monitors often start under $20 per unit, and if you're buying a pallet of 10 or 20, the per item cost drops even further. The trick is to watch the auctions closely and time your bids. The final moments often determine whether you get a crazy deal or miss out. Condition and completeness are things I always consider. Some listings note if hard drives have been removed or if items are untested, which means you might need to invest a little time in refurbishing. I usually factor that into my maximum bid, so I'm never overpaying. Also, shipping isn't always included. Most lots are pickup only, so I plan logistics ahead of time to make sure I can transport everything safely. What's really helpful about GovLiquidation is that it gives a sense of scale. You can go after single items if that's all you need, or dive into bulk lots if you're looking to resell or equip an office. Over time, I've learned that patience, a sharp eye on descriptions, and being ready to act fast are key. Following those steps, I've scored some seriously high-end laptops and monitors for just a fraction of what I'd pay anywhere else. Municibid quickly became one of my favorite platforms for finding high-end laptops and monitors because it's all about local government and school surplus auctions. What I like most is that these auctions often fly under the radar. Most people don't even realize their city, county, or school district is selling off office electronics. I've found everything from single laptops to pallets of monitors, and the listings usually give a clear description of the equipment and its condition. The pricing here is where it gets exciting. I've seen laptops start as low as $30 to $50, and monitors can go for $10 to $25 each, especially when they're part of a bulk lot. Some of the best deals come from school districts upgrading their labs or classrooms. These are often business-grade or education-grade machines that are still in good condition. Bulk lots are a game changer. Buying a stack of 10 to 20 laptops or monitors drastically reduces the cost per unit, making it perfect if you're looking to resell, refurbish, or equip a home office. One thing I always pay attention to is the item's condition and what's included. Municibid listings usually note if items are untested or missing accessories like power cords, and I factor that into my bid so I don't overpay. Pickup logistics are also important. Most local auctions require in-person pickup, and some school districts have strict pickup windows. I always make sure I have a vehicle that can handle the load and plan my trip in advance. Over time, I've realized that success on Municibid comes down to consistency and patience. Checking listings regularly, understanding which districts or municipalities update their auctions frequently, and acting fast when a deal appears has allowed me to score high-end laptops and monitors for just a fraction of retail, all through legitimate, local government channels. PublicAuctionFinder has been a real game changer for me because it aggregates auctions from all over, federal, state, and local, into a single place. Instead of hopping between GSA, Municibid, GovDeals, and every state surplus site, I can see live and upcoming auctions in one feed. That's huge when you're hunting for high-end laptops or monitors, because timing and access to multiple listings at once can make all the difference in scoring a deal. What I love about this site is the sheer variety. You'll see auctions from small-town school districts, city offices, and even police or seized property sales. Prices are often shockingly low. I've spotted laptops starting at $25 to $50 and monitors at $10 to $20, especially when they're listed in bulk or from less competitive areas. Of course, some auctions attract more bidders, so I've learned to focus on smaller or less obvious regions to snag the best deals. Condition is always something I check carefully. PublicAuctionFinder often links directly to the original auction listing, so you can read all the details about whether an item is tested, if accessories are included, or if hard drives have been removed. That helps me calculate the real value and decide my maximum bid. Logistics is another factor. Most of these auctions require local pickup and occasionally shipping is available, but I always plan ahead to make sure I can get the items safely and on time. The biggest advantage I've found is efficiency. Instead of wasting hours scouring multiple platforms, I can scan everything from one dashboard and set alerts for items I want. That consistency pays off. I've scored premium laptops and monitors for a fraction of retail just by checking PublicAuctionFinder regularly, being patient, and acting fast when the right listing appears. PublicAuctionFinder has been a real game changer for me because it aggregates auctions from all over, federal, state, and local, into a single place. Instead of hopping between GSA, Municibid, GovDeals, and every state surplus site, I can see live and upcoming auctions in one feed. That's huge when you're hunting for high-end laptops or monitors, because timing and access to multiple listings at once can make all the difference in scoring a deal. What I love about this site is the sheer variety. You'll see auctions from small-town school districts, city offices, and even police or seized property sales. Prices are often shockingly low. I've spotted laptops starting at $25 to $50 and monitors at $10 to $20, especially when they're listed in bulk or from less competitive areas. Of course, some auctions attract more bidders, so I've learned to focus on smaller or less obvious regions to snag the best deals. Condition is always something I check carefully. PublicAuctionFinder often links directly to the original auction listing, so you can read all the details about whether an item is tested, if accessories are included, or if hard drives have been removed. That helps me calculate the real value and decide my maximum bid. Logistics is another factor. Most of these auctions require local pickup and occasionally shipping is available, but I always plan ahead to make sure I can get the items safely and on time. The biggest advantage I've found is efficiency. Instead of wasting hours scouring multiple platforms, I can scan everything from one dashboard and set alerts for items I want. That consistency pays off. I've scored premium laptops and monitors for a fraction of retail just by checking PublicAuctionFinder regularly, being patient, and acting fast when the right listing appears. Proxibid has been a really interesting platform for me because it's a bit different from the typical government surplus sites. Instead of being tied to just one agency, it hosts auctions from a wide range of companies, including government surplus auctioneers, banks, and liquidation companies. That variety means I can find everything from high-end laptops and monitors to other office electronics all in one place. It's almost like a centralized hub for auctions, which makes it much easier to spot deals without hopping between a dozen different sites. What I've noticed is that the pricing can be really attractive, especially if you're patient and watch the auctions closely. I've seen laptops start at around $50 to $100, and monitors in bulk lots often start under $20 each. Because the platform brings in multiple sellers, the competition can vary. Sometimes there are only a few bidders, which is when I like to swoop in and grab a great deal. One thing I always check carefully on Proxibid is the item condition and what's included. Many auctions note whether the laptops are untested, refurbished, or have missing components, like hard drives or chargers. I always factor that into my bid, so I know my real cost if I need to refurbish or replace parts. Shipping is another consideration. Some auctions offer it, but larger lots usually require local pickup, so I plan my transport ahead of time. Over time, I've learned that the key to success on Proxibid is consistency. I regularly scan new listings, set alerts for the items I'm interested in, and act fast when the timing is right. That approach has allowed me to secure premium laptops and monitors at a fraction of retail, all while staying within my budget and avoiding any unnecessary risk. AllSurplus.com has become one of my favorite go-to sites because it casts such a wide net. Unlike some platforms that focus solely on U.S. government surplus, AllSurplus lists auctions from government agencies, businesses, and industrial companies worldwide. That means I can find high-end laptops, monitors, and other electronics from a variety of sources, and often the pricing is shockingly low compared to retail. What I really like is the global reach. Sometimes deals pop up from regions I wouldn't normally think to check, which opens up more opportunities to score premium tech for pennies. The way I approach AllSurplus is by focusing on both single items and bulk lots. I've seen mid-range laptops start around $50 to $75, and monitors can start at $10 to $20, especially when they're part of a larger lot. Bulk lots are where the savings really shine. Buying 10, 20, or even 50 units at once drops the per item cost dramatically. I always read the descriptions carefully because condition varies. Some laptops are lightly used, others might be untested, and accessories like power cables or hard drives aren't always included. So I factor that into my bid. Logistics is another thing I pay attention to. Many listings require local pickup, though some sellers offer shipping depending on the size and destination. I always plan ahead to make sure I can transport the items safely or coordinate shipping costs so the deal still makes sense. Over time, I've found that being consistent, checking new listings daily, understanding which types of sellers tend to have the best deals, and acting quickly when a good auction appears is key. Using AllSurplus.com, I've managed to get high-end laptops and monitors at prices that would be impossible anywhere else, all through legitimate auctions and surplus sales. If you've been paying attention, you can see how much opportunity there is to get high-end laptops and monitors for a fraction of retail, all through legitimate government, institutional, and liquidation auctions. I've shown you the platforms I use, the strategies that work, and what to watch out for so you can score the best deals without any guesswork. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new tips on getting electronics for less. Drop a comment if you've ever snagged a deal like this, or if you have questions about where to start. I read every single one. And remember, premium tech doesn't have to come with a premium price tag. Stay smart, stay patient, and keep hunting those hidden auctions. You're watching Electronics for Less.